start before you are ready. Just start. I swear, the amount of people that just have this big dream and will never go for it because they're like, oh, what will those people think? Or what will my parents think? What will my sisters think? What will my brothers think? What would my friends think? What would my colleagues think? Like, it doesn't matter. If you have that dream and it's in your heart, it's there for a reason. Listen to that inner voice and just follow that dream. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, Listen Bestie. Here we go. I am so excited for this. This is something that I have been dreaming about for the longest time. And I am here. I am not ready. I am not camera ready. Not that it matters. But I'm gonna do my makeup while I talk about this subject. The reason I decided to speak about this as my first ever YouTube video is because, you know, to prove to you that you don't have to be ready. You don't have to have everything ready. You know, I could have done my makeup off camera and then come here and say start before you're ready, but I just thought if I do my makeup while I speak to you, I can prove to you that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're not 100% ready. I mean, that's just one of the ways that I want to prove to you, and this is something that I'm slowly learning as well. I will never act like I know everything because I don't. This channel is just for me to share with you my thoughts and what I do that works for me and what I did for me that didn't. So take it or leave it, besties. I'm just here for some girl talk, for some advice. I am basically also doing this for practice to get myself out there. This is a big challenge for me. It's a big, you know, it's way out of my comfort zone, and I'm doing it, and I'm here, and I will continue to be here. I'm making that commitment first with myself and then with you, because this is what I want to do, you know. So I want to expose myself in that sense because I want to be a motivational speaker, and that's it. I want to be a self-development coach and a motivational speaker. I want to inspire people and allow people to inspire me. I genuinely believe that everyone we meet can teach us something, and I'm ready to hear all your thoughts in regards to how I can be better. Yeah, and I'm just here to learn and grow with you, besties. I'm here to be your best friend. You know, when you think that you're lost and you need some advice, you can always come to my channel. I will never act like I know everything because I don't. And you know what? I may never will, because there's endless things to learn, you know? So let's get to it now. Start before you're ready. And why is it important? So first of all, why don't you start? Let's think about that for a second. Let's analyze that for a second. Why don't you start? You don't start because of fears and doubts. So I invite you to ask yourself, am I not starting this because I am fearful because of myself? I am fearful and it's an actual fear, like am I actually in danger, or am I fearful what would this person think? So let's analyze that fear first, you know, because before I start telling you start before you're ready, and it's like, first of all, you know, you could come back and say, well, Stephanie, that's easier said than done. The first step is to identify our fears and doubts. So first of all, fears. Write them down. I swear, like, I invite you all to start journalizing and write down your fears, write down your doubts. You need to first identify those before we can move on. This is the first, and I genuinely believe the most crucial and hardest step. Let's do this. First of all, fears. Identify them. At the end of the day, like, how is your life gonna be better if you just always think about other people? Think about it this way. At the end of the day, who's the most important Who is the most important person in your life? You. That's it. So your opinion about yourself should matter more about before anyone else's opinion. Think about that. Like, are your fears actually valid in a sense that maybe I fear of something that just it's never gonna happen. Before I started TikTok and Instagram, I was like, oh my god, like what would my colleagues think, and then nobody really cares, nobody really said anything. I have a few colleagues that follow me and love my content. I know colleagues or ex-colleagues that do content as well. So I was like, I look back and I was like, holy shit, like, Stephanie, this is a lesson. Like, you need to acknowledge that you were so fearful about something that not only did not happen, it actually had the opposite effect. Like, people are actually supportive. So, like, ask yourself, with every fear, ask yourself, what if it turns better than you think? I invite you to write down your fears, everything, dig deep, and then ask yourself this question on each fear. What if it goes better than I think? What if actually this fear turns the exact opposite way? About doubts. And doubts usually appear in the form of negative thoughts. We have this voice in our head that is basically a bee, right? And this bee is there, it sneaks in like a snake. Every time you try and do something, this imposter symptom comes in. It's like, what if nobody watches? What if I'm just a massive failure and what I'm trying to do is just terrible? Listen, bestie. My thoughts are not real. I will not believe all of my thoughts. Repeat it again after me. My negative thoughts are not my reality. My thoughts are not my reality. I will not believe every thought I have. Easier said than done, right? However, if we do this practice daily, I genuinely believe we will start, like, we'll have this thought and we'll start laughing. Like, if this bee sneaks in, like, I genuinely imagine my negative thoughts as this snake that sneaks in. And if I have this thought now, I was like, everyone's gonna think you're ridiculous, Stephanie. Like, why are you doing this? If I'm that confident and secure within myself, I'll think about that and I'll laugh. And I'll be like, what? Of course what I'm doing is valid because I love it, and I enjoy it. And that's all that matters, Like, it needs to make sense to you and no one else. And this is a very important step. We can call this step 2. So, second step, here we go. Listen, bestie. Anything you do needs to make sense to you first. It needs to make sense to you. It's as simple as that. It needs to bring value to you. You need to be the only one that understands it. If you can understand it, it doesn't matter if no one else can. You need to be the only one that loves it first, and then other people will start loving it, and then other people will see its value. That's it. Like, it needs to make sense to you. So make sure whatever it is that you want, you actually want it. You're not doing it because you need to follow your mom's career path. You're not doing it because your brother did it and he's been successful at it and you have to do it as well. You need to identify your why. You need to understand why it matters to you. And it doesn't matter if no one can understand you. There's a lot of people in my life that I said, I want to be a motivational speaker, and they don't get it. They're like, why? Like, you can have a safe job, you can have a safe career, you can be happy doing something else. They don't they don't get that I want to do that, but again, they're supportive. Step 3, find your why. Basically, after you know why it brings you value, apart from why it brings you value, you also need to identify the why you're doing this. Let's have an example. Let's put me as an example, right? So I want to be a motivational speaker and I started this YouTube channel. Let's ask why it brings me value. So this YouTube channel brings me value and it makes sense to me because I believe that by doing so, I will expose myself, I will, in a good way, I will take myself out of my comfort zone, I will push myself, it will be practice. I'm practicing on speaking now. So when that first stage moment happens, I'll be more comfortable because I would practice so much, being consistent and being on camera and talking over and over again, So that is why I believe starting a YouTube channel will bring value to me. And it makes sense to me because I believe this is a step towards the right direction. So that's step 2 explained. Now step 3, what is my why? So my why I want to be a motivational speaker. Why is this so important to me? Well, first of all, is my dream, right? But why is it my dream? Why am I doing this? Well, I want to inspire people. So that's step 3. That's my why. I'm doing this because I want to inspire, because it makes me happy, because I want to inspire and be inspired, because the happiest moments of my life are the moments where I inspired someone. When a friend came and said to me, what you said to me the other day was an amazing advice and you inspired me. And in that moment, my whole heart, it was shining, I cannot explain it. What I'm saying is that I just felt the nicest ever. And I just feel so happy that I was able to, help motivate someone. To close off step 3, this is my why. My why is to inspire and to be inspired. My why is to make other people happy and motivated. And that motivates me and that lifts up my soul. And yeah, that's my why. So I think you can understand now the difference between step 2 and 3. Step 4 is allow yourself to dream. For many people, they don't even allow themselves to dream and they have forgotten what their dreams were. So that's why, especially for those people, it is important to do them in those steps and then start dreaming after you identify your why, because your why might be as simple as that. I want to inspire people. I want to help people. That is your why. That is your step 3, right? That could mean so many different things. If that's your why, maybe you want to be a doctor. Maybe you want to work at a charity shop. Maybe you want to build an organization that helps people. Maybe you want to be a motivational speaker like me. You know how a why can mean different things to different people. It depends how everyone interprets it. So listen, bestie, again. Dream big. And I keep saying this and I will say it again and again and again. So just allow yourself to dream. And if it's difficult, what helped me when it was really difficult for me to start dreaming again after I hit rock bottom basically a couple of years ago, is I went back to my childhood dreams. And I know you're gonna laugh, but my first childhood dream ever was to own a Pegasus. And I know those aren't real, but I was obsessed with Barbie. I mean, as you can see from the background, I still am. I was obsessed with Barbie and the magic Pegasus. And I remember I asked Santa when I was 5 or 6 maybe for a flying pony. That's what I wanted. that's really what I wanted, you know? And as a little kid, I would dream and dream and dream, and I would just allow myself to dream. And then I remember, like, at age 7 or 8, I remember thinking, like, I just like helping people, and maybe I want to be a doctor, you know? And obviously then I did biology and I hated it. So I was like, yeah, maybe not. But, you know, so one links to the other. Some dreams are just silly childhood dreams. And the reason I mentioned that is because in my, like, dark moments, so in my dark moments a couple years ago, when I really dig deep into old memories and I remember that, I smiled. I had a little giggle on my own. So not every dream you had as a child, you know, it's real, because obviously, like, flying ponies don't exist. But I had that thought, and I was like, I wonder what, like, 5-year-old Stephanie was thinking at that point. And then I remembered that I had this vivid image of me just flying around, and I was able to travel and see the world. And this past 2 years, I've traveled more than anything I've ever done before in my life. I've traveled so much, and I'm so grateful and privileged that I was able to do that. Maybe that's what that dream was about, you know? We don't know. That is it. So I genuinely think this is what will help you to dream. Remember your childhood. Remember what you wanted. Where you closed your eyes, what do you dream about? You know, start from there. Journal, again, very important. Write down your thoughts and allow yourself to dream big. Now that we have identified those steps, it is time to actually do the work. It is time to start. You need to just start. And we go back to the title of this episode, which is Start Before You're Ready. But in order to start before you're ready, you just need to eliminate that fear, find your why, find why it brings value to you, find your why you want to do this, you know, dream bigger and bigger, you know. That can take you like a day, that can take you 3 months, that can take you 3 years. So you can do step 1 till 4 and just stay there and never start. And just keep, like I did, keep talking about it over and over again, keep mentioning, because you feel it so deeply and you want it so deeply, but you don't start. Why? Because maybe you didn't actually do those steps. Because maybe I still had fear, you know? And you know what? Those steps are not perfect. You'll still have fear. I am still fearful right now. I still am. You will still have fear. You know, those steps are not perfect. It will keep happening. But because you did the work, because you identify it, now after this video, before this video, I will do the exercise again. I will do step 1 till 4 for 5 minutes and I'll be okay. I was doing steps 1 till 4 for 3 years, more than that, if we want to go back. So there's no such thing as ready. There's no such thing as being ready. You're never ready. You can never be. Like, honestly, like, are you really ever ready? Like, I wasn't ready for this video. I didn't do my makeup before. Not that I have to do them, but I just really like doing my makeup. But I wasn't ready before this video, and I still started it. You know, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do my makeup on camera while I speak about this, you know. It's as simple as that. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start anyway because I wanted to challenge myself a little bit. Like, just start. You know, I've been wanting to do this channel. I've been talking about it for years, but especially now that I started Instagram and TikTok, I've been thinking when to do this. And for the last 3 weeks, I was like, I'll start filming Saturday. I'll start uploading Saturday. And that was like 3 Saturdays ago, you know? So this morning when I was like, yeah, but I should do my makeup and then film, then I was like, you know what? No, I will not prolong this anymore. So why would I prolong it more? I wanted a slow morning, yes, because it's Saturday, but I also, you know what? Yeah, I could go out, but I'm going out in a couple hours. And I set this time to do this. So I need to trust myself that when I say I will do something, I do it. Because the more you prolong it, the more you don't start, and this is very important, so stay with me, the more you say you'll start and you don't, you start not trusting yourself. You know, when you're at uni or you have work and your manager, your supervisor, whatever, will say to you, finish this report by Monday. Will you not have finished it? Yes, you will, you know? So when you say to yourself, I will upload a video on YouTube this Saturday, that is my deadline that I set to myself, why don't you do it? Why do you honor your supervisor? I mean, you should, but why do you honor them and not honor the deadline you set for yourself? And the deadlines we set for ourselves can always be pushed back. You need to understand the same way that a deadline your manager set for you, this report needs to be done by Friday. If you're gonna do this and you're gonna honor that and you're gonna try as hard as you can to honor that, and I'm sure you will, then the same way you need to honor the deadlines you're putting to yourself. Because if, let's say, your supervisor said that and you didn't do it, you know, 1, 2, 3 times, your supervisor is not gonna trust you anymore. And they'll think, okay, Stefan is that person that just is unreliable, right? So if you do that to yourself, your subconscious is trained now to think, I am an unreliable person. I don't do the things I set out to do. No. Going back to the beginning of this video, you matter most. Your opinion matters most. This is step 2. Why does it bring me value can also be translated to do it for you, basically. You know, you matter most. Your opinion matters most. So yeah, the same way that you're gonna have the report ready by Friday because your manager said so, you're gonna have that video ready by Saturday because you said so to yourself. Nobody else needs to know. This is you with you. You made a commitment to yourself. You don't honor the commitments you made to yourself, but you made the commitments you made to your manager. How does that work? How are you gonna trust yourself? Because if you continue to do this, then you're never gonna trust yourself. Because if you continue to do this tomorrow, when that channel doesn't reach the followers you wanna reach, or that book that you wrote doesn't sell in the first month or 2, you immediately gonna go back to fear and doubts and be like, oh yeah, I was right. It didn't work out. You know, you're immediately gonna go there because you're like, oh yeah, you know, I mean, I didn't trust myself anyway. I knew it was gonna be a failure. Whereas if you really trust yourself and you trust that what you did and what you're putting out there is good, it might not be a month, it might not be 2 months, it might be 10 years, but you'll get there. There's so many examples that like people start over at their 50s and their 60s, they find happiness and love in their 80s. You know, so it won't happen overnight. Maybe it does for some people, but that's not where I want to focus on this video. I want to focus on how important it is to value the commitment you make to yourself. So you need to make sure you start before you're ready and you start when you say you will. It's as simple as that, besties. I promise you it will work out. I promise you it will. And just start before you are ready. I talk too much and I can't do mascara because I move my hands so much. So I'll do that off camera, but I love you. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and like and subscribe for more.